Catherine and Jordan, would you like to come up for a bit of time at the front this morning? Catherine, you going to come up? Yes? That's great. And Haley. Are you coming too, Haley? Oh! Magic! Let's try that again. Oh, you know why that is? Can you feel the wind?
Underneath, it blew it right over.
Well, you know, it's not really a story today. Well, I know you can see it. It wouldn't quite fit in the box, and I didn't want to squash it because. But it's round. Anyway, it's fine. It's sort of a story this morning because we're talking about a prayer called the Lord's Prayer. And back when Jesus was teaching and working with people, he was asked one day, Jesus, can you teach us how to pray? I think I just went off, didn't I? Am I back? Yeah. Be very careful. And when I first read that story, I thought, isn't that funny that they would be asking him how to pray? And then I realized, and every time Jesus prayed, he would go away into the desert or into the mountains by himself. So I don't think they ever actually saw him pray in front of them. And so they needed to be taught. And the neatest thing is that the prayer that he taught had 5 really simple ideas to it that made it easy to remember. And the first one was to think about God as a spirit that is around and in everything and is and of course and so he was like we were beginning by. Have you ever written a letter? Have you ever written a letter, Catherine? So you know how you start a letter with "Dear whoever" or something like that. So it was almost like he was saying, you begin by saying, "Dear God," and so I was imagining that it might be something like, "Dear God, I feel your spirit everywhere, and I think you are great and good. Everything that love should be." And so I think about this as kind of representing that spirit that we can feel in here and we can feel around us. And then to think about the whole world and to hope. I did. And to think about the whole world as being filled with God's love. And so maybe the prayer would continue. And God, I hope that you will rule all of creation, so that life will be good for every person that lives in every place in Australia. Yeah. And every creature that is on this whole earth. And then, you know what he said next? Okay, let's just leave it here, Catherine. And you know what he said next? He said, we need to make sure that everybody has food to eat and water to drink. And so maybe it would be, and God, I hope that food and water and clothing and shelter, like a home, and everything else can be shared so that everyone has what they need. And then he went on to say, to pray for forgiveness. That's a big word. Do you know what forgiveness means? Any idea? I'll show you in a second. Forgiveness is if somebody hurts you some way, like maybe says something that isn't nice, or maybe you've done something to hurt somebody else, it's to be able to say, I'm sorry for whatever happened. And that was the other thing. And so sometimes we can actually hug the other person or hold their hand and say we're sorry. Sometimes they're too far away, and so we just have to do that the best way we can by kind of sending them a nice I am sorry through the air. And sometimes we have to hold our own hands and say to ourselves, I forgive myself for whatever I did that wasn't so great. So he did that. And finally, Jesus said that we need to ask God to be our guide.
So which way should we go?
Exactly. It's hard to know sometimes, isn't it? And so maybe the prayer would go, and God, help me to do things that are loving and helpful, so that I don't hurt myself or others. Does that sound like a good number of things to pray for? Do you think so? So, how about we say this prayer together? Can we say this prayer together? Catherine, will you help me with it? I'm going to say a bit of a line and then you can repeat it to me. Okay, so let's go. It goes, Dear God, I feel your spirit everywhere. And I think you are great. And good. Everything that love should be. And God, I hope that you will rule all creation. So that life will be good. For every person. And every creature. And God, I hope that food, water, shelter, clothing, and everything else can be shared, so everyone has enough. And God, help us to forgive ourselves for things we have done wrong, and forgive others who have hurt us, and not to hold grudges. And God, help me to do things that are loving and helpful, so that I don't hurt myself or others. Amen. Thank you for helping me. And now, we're going to sing the Lord's Prayer again, but this is a version that I heard when I was in high school, and I just loved it. And when we talked about it at the music team, we thought, we're hoping that people remember this enough to be able to sing it with us. And the words are printed in the order of service, and we're going to teach it to you too, because you won't know this one. This song is too old for you to know. But Our Father, and we need to stand for this because this is